بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, part of the plan or the strategy that we had about talking or discussing various sermons of Nahj al-Balagha after we covered the two books, brief overlook of the two books we discussed. Since Ayatollah Hassan Zada Amil Marhum had listed few of these sermons, we thought if we could at least cover 4 or 5 of these sermons that were listed to see what do they contain. The first was Khutbah Shaqshaqiyya, is well known, very famous khutbah and sermon in which Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah salamu alayhi reflects on the usurpation of power and the fact that none of the previous khulafa from Abu Bakr, Umar and Uthman, they really deserved to be in that position while he was present as the best and most qualified individual after the Holy Prophet. Not only he said that they were not qualified, everything that they did was damaging to the faith. The next sermon, the next topic, which was some kind of a consequence of addressing Khutbah Shaqshaqiyya, was the notion of Imamah and Khilafah, which we again briefly discussed it. Today we're going to focus on sermon number 25. Little bit of background about this sermon. Scholars and commentators of Nahj al-Balagha have said that this sermon was delivered, and as well as the sermon number 27 that we may spend some time next week on it, around the end of his life. So because he makes a comment that I have reached, my age is now, or I am older than 60 years old. Since he was, when he was martyred, he was 63. So broad reference to I'm older than 60 could be clearly an indication that he's getting close to the end of his life. The essence of this sermon is given due to the fact that news was brought to him by his by Ubaidullah ibn Abbas, the governor of Yemen, as well as the military leader of Yemen, when they deserted their post while they were attacked by some battalions of Muawiyah's army, and they came to Kufa to let the Imam know that, look, this is what happened and we came over here, which he was livid and said, chastised them for leaving their post and coming to Kufa to discuss the affairs. This sermon is divided into approximately, broadly speaking, 3 segments. The first segment, Imam complains about how impotent he has become, unable to really do anything, despite the fact that he is the most qualified and exemplary leader with all the qualifications necessary for him and characteristics for him to lead, but his inability to lead and effectively is due to the fact that this is the theme that we have discussed something even during the month of Ramadan in my lectures and others, the absence of what we call political base. And political base, according to the Imam, are a group of people that absolutely submit unquestionably to the command of the leader and follow his instruction. The absence of that has led to to not the Imam not being able, technically the entire Muslim world apart from Sham and Egypt was under Muawiyah, but even in Iraq, that he was supposed to be the leader, Muawiyah at will could send a battalion and take over, and nobody could do anything about it. And even people like Ubaydullah ibn Abbas, which is the cousin of the Imam, would desert his post and run away with his military commander and come to Kufa and say, oh, they took over. By the way, this is the same Ubaydullah ibn Abbas that 6 months after the demise of the Holy Prophet, the Holy Imam, and the martyrdom of Imam, deserted Imam Hassan and accepted Muawiyah's money and switched allegiance and went to Muawiyah. These are one of the sons of Abbas. I mean, if you have people like him within the family, they say if you have friends like this, who needs enemies? If you can't trust even members of your household, your family members, whom can you trust? What chance do you have with other people? So the first section talks about the fact that really that we go over the translation. Really, there is not much left beyond Kufa for the Imam to control. So Kufa, the Imamah or the Khilafah of Amir al-Mu'mineen has become a city-state, the Greek city-state, that he has only authority on Kufa. And then he complains, even Kufa has its own limitation. The number 2, in the second section, he cites the incident of Muawiyah sending a group of people and a battalion to Yemen, and the Imam's governor as well as the military leader coming out, running away and coming back, and then Imam predicts that I can see in the future these people, Muawiyah and his groups, are going to rule over you and take control. Why? Imam lists 4 what we call sociological factors, that the absence of these factors lead to batil taking control, and the presence of them lead to haqq being in charge. Now, you can contextualize it in the life of Muawiyah and Ali, but what Imam is trying to explain here is these 4 are necessary for haqq to be in charge, and absence of them, batil will take control. What are these? Number 1, as we go through the sermon, I will talk to them. Number 1, unity and division. These are the two what we call opposite concept. Discord and unity. These are the two. If you have unity, then you have a haqq, and you are supporters of haqq, then you have a good chance. Even if you are supporters of batil, if you have unity, you have a good chance of succeeding. So unity as number 1. And Imam says, بِاجْتِمَاعِهِمْ عَلَى بَاطِلِهِمْ وَتَفَرُّقِكُمْ عَنْ حَقِّكُمْ. The discord, disunited group of ramshackle people, that you have an Imam on the right path, and you still deviate, wander around. Imam says, I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. He said, I don't know what I can do with you people in Kufa. You look like, sheep that I try to organize. Your right flank, your left flank goes out of control. I try to organize your left flank, your right flank goes out of control. So this unity and division is critical. Number 2, not following the command of the leader, what we call to disobey, and going against the command of the leader. بمعصيتكم إمامكم في الحق وطاعتهم إمامهم في الباطل. You see a comparison between people of Kufa and people of Sham. He says if you compare yourself, people of Sham, they submit to the command of their leader no matter what, even when he is on batil, but you disobey and you don't follow the command of your leader, even when your leader is on haqq. The third one is loyalty and honesty to the leader and sincerity versus treachery and disloyalty. And he says, وَبَأَدَائِهِمُ الْأَمَانَةِ إِلَى صَاحِبِهِمْ وَخِيَانَتِكُمْ. You, with me, you are treacherous, disloyal, while they are honest and sincere when it comes to Muawiyah. Whatever Muawiyah said, they would do. And finally, reform and renovation of their own land, while people of Kufa really did not pay attention to the renovation and Islah, the concept of Islah. بِصَلَاحَهِمْ فِي بِلَادِهِمْ وَفِسَادِكُمْ. And you really destroy and remove, you don't follow, you don't renovate, and you don't pay attention to your place of residence, while the other group, they do. Then finally, the third section, the frustration of how life has handed him such a useless group of people, and what he could have done had he had only 1,000 disciplined, obedient soldiers. These are the three sections in this khutbah. Now, if we go back to the translation of the hadith, I mean the Nahj al-Balagha, if you have access to it, you can, it says, I am informed, the first part of, from an oration, when the widespread reports reached Ali that Muawiyah's commanders had occupied his territory, when his Busr ibn Abi Artat seized Yemen. Muawiyah sends from Sham one commander, battalion leader, to go through Medina, Mecca, and ultimately to Yemen, destroy everything, and he gets to Yemen and seize power. Ali's governor, Ubaydullah ibn Abbas, and Sa'id ibn Nimran fled and returned to Kufa. Angered by his followers' apathy in rising to fight and their opposition to his commands, Ali ascends the pulpit and explains. So section number 1. This section only explains that out of the entire Muslim world, Kufa has remained the only center, the only city-state that Ali is in control. I have only you, Kufa, to hold or relinquish. Only you, with your dry winds that rise pillars of dust, may God render you foul. You are useless. I can't do much with this city. Then he recites a testimonial verse. Then he continues. This is the second section. I am informed that Busr has ascended the Yemen highlands. By God, I fear this group will vanquish you, for they are, now Imam lists the 4 characteristics. One of the issues and the themes that we need to discuss, inshallah, possibly next week, is why the Muslims immediately after the demise of the Holy Prophet did not support Ali, despite the fact that they knew who Ali was, his characteristics, etc., etc. It's a list of about 6 or 7 factors that inshallah we talk about them. And it has relevance to Ashura and Karbala as well. So long as these factors exist, they are not going to accept Imam Hussein. If they did not respect his father, they are not going to respect his, Imam Hassan or Imam Hussein. So it has some ramification. For they are united in their false claim. They know, Muawiyah knows that he has, and if you remember a few weeks ago when I cited this hadith from Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, criticism of Muawiyah and Muawiyah's response to him. He says, we all knew who Ali was, his characteristics, his exemplary personality, and so on. But your father and his so-called buddy, Farouk, which is Umar, they decided to usurp and remove Ali from the power, and we are following suit. So he knew that his position was false, but yet people of Sham, irrespective of what happened, they follow. We see it today in the story of Syria. Shara, everybody knows who Shara is and how he moved from Iraq to Syria, from Daesh to ISIS to everything else, and was supported by United States and Turkey, and now he's coming and taking control. Nobody says anything about his lifestyle. They all submit. So they are united in their false claim, while you, despite your truth, are divided. That's number one. Number two, you disobey your leader in his call to truth, while they obey theirs in his call to falsehood, which is Muawiyah says, go, they go, irrespective of what he says. They are loyal to their master, while you are treacherous. That's the third. Their land adheres to a proper state of affair. Is a structure on Islah and reform on the land and how it's structured, while you are corrupt and dishonest. Now extend this few years later, 20 years later to Karbala and everything else, and you see similarities between the two. If I trusted you, now listen, it makes, when one reads these sermons, one really feels despondent and sad, to say the least, that Imam, such an exemplary character, had to deal with these people. And this metaphor that he uses here clearly underscored the depth of the crisis. If I entrusted one of you with a wooden cup, he would make off with his palm-fronted handle. I can't even trust you with one cup, because you remove the handle and you move away. God, I am tired of this community, these people, and they are tired of me. I am weary of them and they are weary of me. So give me better and give them worse. Crush their hearts like salt dissolving in water. By God, would that I had 1,000 tribesmen. That's the last part. 1,000 tribesmen, fully disciplined from Ibn Ghanam. I would have changed the entire world with them because of their discipline. When you call out, their men rush to you like the hot summer cloud. No question asked. And then he descended from the pulpit. So this issue is this sermon similar to the sermon of Sheikh Shaqiyya. Sermon of Sheikh Shaqiyya focuses on the fact, what we call it, the political philosophy from an Amir al-Mu'mineen and the Imama and Wilaya point of view. That only the most perfect example of an individual, al-Insan al-Kamil, the universal man, deserves to lead the society. And since none of them, those who were before, fell within that category, then they have to be called usurpers and corrupt. In a letter to Malik Ashtar, what Imam sends to Egypt, he calls them corrupt destroyers of Islam. And Fatima al-Zahra in Khutbah Fadakiyya in Masjid al-Nabi says the same thing, that you open the door, the blood and the pus will come out of it within a few years. You'll see the consequence. as how the society is going to be corrupted and destroyed. So this one, that was Khutbah Shaqshaqiyya, which we call it the broad political philosophy. One huge amount of literature exists on that. This khutbah literally talks to people that are not listening to him, but through this direct conversation, he lays down the foundation of what kind of a society we need to have and what condition haqq needs to have around it to be able to succeed in the confrontation and the clash that exists between haqq and batil all the time. And unfortunately today, when we are beginning to have this global confrontation between haqq and batil, the absence of those, the 1,000 characteristics that Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah salamu alayhi talks about is clearly visible. 1.5 million or billion Muslim population, they are totally silent and impotent before the Zionist movement regarding Gaza and what is happening. Nearly close to 2 years. October 2003, now close to October 2005. And thousands upon thousands of children, innocent people, women have been killed, destroyed. The Arabs, the Muslim world is quiet and does nothing. Why? Because that political base, unity and desire, the trust in leadership, the absence of leadership, not following the command of Ahlul Bayt, or at least the Holy Prophet for haqq and batil, it's the result of it that we see today. Part of this sermon, as I indicated, although this was primarily lamenting the situation that he is in. You see Imam rarely coming out and saying that, "Oh Lord, take me." How painful the situation has become that the Amir al-Mu'mineen says, "Oh Lord, take me. Give me something better and give them something worse. Because I can't do much with these people." So this is something that we can spend some more time on these 4 conditions and analyze them. Later on, probably the first thing that next week we will be talking about is the reasons why Muslims deserted Amir al-Mu'mineen after the demise of the Holy Prophet. Few of them are what we call context orientated, that goes back to the early history, but the rest is something that we can ask ourselves. If the haqq, the Imam of the day, kills my brother justly, do I take grudge against the Imam for killing my brother, or do I accept and submit to the command of the Imam and say, he is the Imam, he is the righteous, and whatever he did was right and nothing? One of the factors that people at that time stood up against Ali was the grudge that they had and the hatred that they had towards Ali, because he killed their fathers, their grandfathers, their uncles, their brothers, and so on. Muawiyah, in the Battle of Badr, he lost his grandfather, he lost his brother, he lost his cousin, and few other family members. And if you don't have pure heart to accept that Imam is the righteous individual, whatever Imam does, you see the difference between this guy and one of the businessmen of Kufa that he stole or something, and Imam went to Imam and asked for punishment. Imam cut his hand. He was carrying his hand in his arm. One of the Uthmanis that were there came to him because he knew that he is the followers of Ahlul Bayt and Ali. He said, "What happened to your hand?" He said, "The just leader." You see how he puts it? The just leader implemented a just had on me which I sinned to purify my sin. That heart, not everybody has it. These people, most of them, they had grudge because of the fact that they lost. Now, one of the questions, I know Ali has not killed my brother and my sister, but if I am in a situation that the Imam does something that I do not like, would I submit? Or would I stand up and say, no, it's not acceptable? Aqil, his brother, what did he ask Amir al-Mu'mineen? Aqil had a large family and he was poor. He invites Ali to his house to show him how desperate economic situation is in his house, and how the kids are not properly fed, not properly dressed, etc. And what does he ask? He asks little bit more from Baytul Mal, little bit more to be able to pay for his the food and so on of this large family. Imam refuses. Talha and Zubair, they go to the Imam and they ask for their wealth to be increased from Baytul Mal. He says, on what basis? He said, oh, we were Sahabas, we fought with with the Holy Prophet. I said, okay, let's use this thing that you say. Who is closer to Ali, to the Holy Prophet, you or me? I said, you. Who fought more for the Holy Prophet, you or me? You. Who fought more for Islam, you or me? You. If that's the case, I, as a person more deserving under those criteria, I am not allowed to take anything beyond what is the basic requirement. And on what basis should I give you extra money? So this idea that Imam does whatever is necessary, balance, and haqq and batil, you stand united and you trust and obey and become loyal to the Imam no matter what. This is absent. Imam put it into that context, but at the same time provided us a sociological foundation that we can judge our society. One of the problems that we have these days is that, how can I put it, the nationalistic feeling that we have within our society. The corrupt member of our society, we prefer it to the haqq and the leaders that come from somewhere else. Those who haven't studied, those who haven't, they don't have knowledge, but because they are from my country, we give them preference. So these are something that inshallah, as we go through analyzing the khutbah, the next khutbah, khutbah 27 next week, to start with is to look at those factors that led to people, Muslims, at the beginning, after the demise of the Holy Prophet, deserting Ali and settling for comfort zone and quiet life. Inshallah. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.